In 1970, the average American worker could buy a home with just over 2 years of their full salary. Today, it would take you nearly 8 years. And that's if you managed to save every single penny you earned. What happened to the American dream? The one where hard work guaranteed a place to call your own. That dream isn't just fading. It's being systematically dismantled. It's not just inflation. It's not just supply and demand. It's a perfect storm. And I'm going to show you exactly why homeownership has become an impossible dream for millions. And who is profiting from your rented future. Let's start with some perspective. Back in 1970, the median home price in America was about $23,000. The median household income? Just under $10,000. That's a price-to-income ratio of 2.4. A typical family could save for a down payment in a few years, and their mortgage would eat up about a quarter of their monthly income. Meet Robert and Susan. It's 1973. They're 27. He's a factory supervisor. She's a part-time teacher's aide. Within 3 years of getting married, they had saved enough for a down payment on their first home, a modest 3-bedroom in a growing suburb. Their mortgage payment was less than a fourth of their combined income. Now, fast forward. It's today. The median home price has rocketed to nearly $430,000. But the median household income has only crawled to about $74,000. That's a price-to-income ratio approaching 6 nationwide. In major cities on the coasts, it's often over 10. Meet Michael and Amber. They're both 35, both college-educated professionals with what we call good jobs. They've been saving for 8 years and still can't afford a down payment in their city. The starter home they're looking at would devour over 45% of their monthly income in mortgage payments alone. This isn't normal. This isn't sustainable. And it didn't happen by accident. Here's the core of the issue. When you adjust for inflation, wages for most Americans have barely budged since the 1970s. The average worker's purchasing power has grown just about 17% over 50 years. Meanwhile, inflation-adjusted home prices have tripled. Let that sink in. If wages and home prices had increased at the same rate since 1970, the average home today would cost you about $120,000, not $430,000. So what broke? In the 1970s, productivity and wages completely disconnected. American workers kept getting more productive, making companies more and more profitable. But those profits stopped flowing to the workers. Instead, the gains flowed upward. CEO pay has grown over 1,400% since 1978. The top 1% of earners captured nearly 40% of all economic growth over the last half-century. But that's only where the story begins. Because something else happened to our housing market. Something that fundamentally changed who owns America's homes. In the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis, as millions of Americans lost their homes to foreclosure, Wall Street saw an opportunity. Large institutional investors began buying single-family homes, not by the dozens, but by the thousands. Blackstone alone spent over $10 billion acquiring more than 30,000 homes. A company called Invitation Homes now manages over 80,000 single-family rentals. These corporations have advantages no regular homebuyer can ever match. Endless cash reserves, the ability to buy homes sight unseen, and algorithms that can spot undervalued properties in an instant. In some hot markets, these investors bought up to 30% of all available homes. In certain neighborhoods, it's even higher. Take Charlotte, North Carolina. In some zip codes there, investors purchased over 40% of all homes sold between 2020 and 2022. And these aren't homes being flipped and resold. They're being converted into permanent rentals. Nationwide, investors bought nearly 1 in 4 single-family homes sold in 2022. This isn't just competition. It's a fundamental reshaping of who owns America's housing. For a family trying to buy their dream home, it means being outbid not by another family, but by a faceless corporation with billions in assets. A corporation that can offer cash, waive inspections, and close in days. But even if we could wave a magic wand and remove all the corporate investors, we'd still have a massive problem. Because in many places across America, it's literally illegal to build affordable housing. Across the country, approximately 75% of all residential land is zoned exclusively for single-family homes. This isn't natural. It's by design. In most American cities, it is illegal to build duplexes, triplexes, or even modest townhomes in the majority of residential areas. These missing middle housing types, which were common before the 1940s, would naturally create more affordable options. Think about it. Our grandparents' neighborhoods often had corner stores, small apartments above shops, and different housing sizes all on the same street. Today, that exact development pattern is prohibited in most American suburbs. When developers do try to build something denser, they face immense pushback. Local zoning boards, dominated by current homeowners, consistently reject new construction that might change neighborhood character or, heaven forbid, affect their property values. The result? We are building far fewer homes per capita than we did in the 1960s and 70s, despite a growing population. Between 2010 and 2020, America built 6.5 million fewer homes than it needed to keep up with demand. This artificial constraint on supply doesn't just drive up prices. It fundamentally changes who can build wealth in America. For most of the middle class, homeownership has been the primary way to build wealth. It's not just a roof over your head. It's an asset that grows over time, that you can borrow against for education, for emergencies, that you can eventually pass down. Consider two people starting with the same income at age 30. One buys a home, the other rents. By retirement, the homeowner has hundreds of thousands in equity, wealth they built just by paying for the place they live. The renter has nothing to show for decades of payments. At age 30, nearly half of all baby boomers owned their homes. For millennials at the same age, just 28%. For Gen Z, the numbers look even worse. The median homeowner now has a net worth 40 times higher than the median renter. $255,000 versus just over $6,000. For the first time in American history, we're seeing wealth decline across generations. And because homeownership rates vary so dramatically by race, 72% for white households versus 43% for black households. This crisis is blowing the racial wealth gap wide open. So what is the real reason nobody can buy a house anymore? It's not one thing. It's everything, all at once. It's stagnant wages while housing costs explode. It's corporate investors treating a human necessity as just another financial asset on a spreadsheet. It's archaic zoning laws that artificially choke the supply of new homes. It's a system that is increasingly designed to transfer wealth upward, not build it broadly. There are solutions. Cities like Minneapolis and states like Oregon have banned exclusive single-family zoning. Community land trusts are creating models for permanently affordable housing. Limits on corporate ownership could level the playing field. But first, we have to understand that this crisis isn't natural. It isn't inevitable. It is the result of specific policies and economic shifts that can and must be changed. The American dream of homeownership isn't dead yet, but saving it will require us to confront powerful interests and rethink the systems we take for granted. Because housing isn't just about buildings. It's about belonging. It's about having a stake in your community and a foundation for your future. And that is something worth fighting for. If this video helped you understand why housing has become so unaffordable and who's really benefiting from the crisis, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the economic issues shaping our lives. What's your housing story? Are you struggling to buy? Already given up? Or found creative solutions? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story matters, and others might learn from your journey. Thanks for watching, and remember, understanding the problem is the first step toward fixing it.